Hello and welcome. I'm Knight's Angel, and we're back building our sleeves. Now, off camera I did quite a bit. So, I finished putting our straps in and setting up our liner. So, yeah, drawbacks to using a dark marker on white fabric. And I did kind of goof. Tried a couple of times to get it in, but ended up getting the seam in backwards. But that's neither here nor there. So, I also finished adding our extension for our shoulders. So, today we're going to be playing around with that. Now, off to the side here we have the remainder of our components. Our edge liner, which is set up specifically for this. Our two shoulder pieces that are going to close the sleeve, the fur and the liner, and the sleeve itself. Now, one other thing I did on the first one is I put in a stitch line on the cuff so it doesn't go sliding around on us. And you could probably hear Sunny in the background being a cat. So, what we're going to do today is, this is going to be really tricky because of just how we have to do it. So we are going to start the easiest place possible. We are going to put these two components together. I'm really going to clean that table. So, how we are going to do that is we are going to line it up on one side. And remember I had pointed out working odd angles? Prime example. Now, give us a little bit of room to play with. We're not going to need this for that. We're going to need that out of the way because this thing is set up to do sleeve work. So what we're going to do is once we get them together, which is I've just done, is we are going to put them together. Now, if you are pinning this, which I hope you are, you're going to want to press the fur. You're going to want to make sure that you get as much fur out of the way as possible. And it's going to be a little bit trickier around the corner seams. At the corners of the seams, actually. So, once you get that lined up, and a good place to actually start would be to put the back of the boot up against the seam, as that'll give you a good starting point. And you're just going to run right over that seam anyway, so either way. Excuse me. Now, there are a couple of techniques you can use for cleaning up your edge, and one of them is really simple. Take one of your safety pins and be careful of the sharp point. You want to use the ball end, and press it through. That works especially well if you have it pinned, because you will need to take the pins out as you run it through the machine. And I'll probably show you that in another video and go into greater detail. So, let's go ahead and get started with this. And it's the same thing we've been doing this entire time. Probably be a little bit easier. And you want to line it up as you go. It's probably going to take me a little more than 20 minutes to do this, so we'll probably get through this right now and work on the rest later. And don't worry, there is a method to my madness here, as I'm showing you the fun parts. And while I was setting these up, I went ahead and added as you saw last time, I added a little extension or a little relief, so it's not squeezing the arm all the way around. And just keep turning it as we go. Now, here we go. And this is where the fun begins. So we're going to want to line this up. We want as much of the fur on the exterior of our stitch. So we get to mess with this 3 times. One shot. So, here we go. And da 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 da. Now we're going to pretty much stop at just about each seam, so just to make sure we get it nice and clean. You don't want to rush through it because that's how you're going to make a mess of it. And you want to make sure as much of the fur gets pushed through to the outside as possible. Had a lead foot for a second. And that's pretty much it. And I'm just going to go ahead and run it all the way through for you. So we're at the halfway point. And you also want to stretch it a little bit in places, so you can maintain your alignment. So there we go. And, and here we go. Don't worry, folks, we're getting there, Just push and press a little bit more. Now, see, this is where it's gonna get a little bit tricky, because we have two seams lined up, and we have a good bit of fur in between, and we also are coming back to our starting point. So this is where it's gonna get a little bit interesting. And take your time. Don't rush. You rush, you make mistakes. Now, as far as getting the two seams, easiest way to do that is to actually push them, level them out, pretty much. Like so. And we are back at our starting point. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it all the way up. Close our stitch. And there we go. Then we just have to brush it out. Which we can do right now. Same technique as before. And if done correctly, hopefully done correctly, your seams will be invisible. Voila. Pretty much, unless you know where it is, it's probably going to be very hard to find. Ooh, looks like we got a little knot there. So, brush it out. Like anything else, brush it out. So, there we go. Just have to bring our sleeve back, our lining back out. I want to be careful because all of that will sit there and twist and turn it. So, and if it's sticking out like this, is actually a good thing. We're going to need that soon enough. So, for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this off here. In the next one, we will be setting up those. What we'll probably be starting off with is this. This thing is going to be the biggest pain. And that's simply because we have to make sure these line up. And on top of that, we have to make sure that when we add this to this, and finally the main suit, that everything is where it's supposed to be. This is where it's going to get interesting. And you get to see me do it. So, till then, thank you for joining me. And as always, hit the buttons as you so desire, at your leisure. Leave your thoughts, comments, questions, ideas, and insults down below, down in the comment section. And I will see you all later. Until then, I'm Knight's Angel. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a better day.